Oh, I just died off camera there. You didn't see it. Welcome, everyone, to the selection table. As always, I am here joined by an ever-flotating guest panel. Couple of late outs tonight. Bucky is out children-related, training-related. We've lost Let Dog, who was got in for an operation yesterday. So here at selection table, we're sending him love. He came back for a week, and he's now the David Cunningham of this group. So he's having surgery. So we're sending Lek love. I know he's watching somewhere, but we have got Paul, who is like all Italian men, running late, and but on time, always ready to go. This show's version of Lockie Cowan, right?
Oh, I'll take that any day of the week.
Underappreciated, continually putting in, never beaten, and just willing to step up and do whatever job he wants. The big man himself, Ian. How are you doing?
Mate, doing very well. Love that comparison. We'll definitely take that. If anyone wants to throw out some other, barnyard type animal noises at me in the chat, feel free. Love the move with Cowan. But no, look, doing well, Pommy. I mean, it's an interesting time right now, Carlton fans, and trying to make content around it. Things are not going very well on the field, but weirdly, we're still top 4 games left to go in the regular season. And within 2 minutes, that things can change around very, very quickly. So it's going to be an interesting episode to see what changes we make this week.
Mate, and join us, better late than never. If we've got Lockie Cowan is Ian, this guy here would be Elijah Hollands. Bit of a bad guy rep sometimes, but there is no doubt you get the ball in this guy's hands, something is getting finished. Mr. Paolo Sebastiani, how are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. I just need the James Bond music in the background, and we're set. So, very good evening to you all. Very good evening to all the listeners and viewers. Should be a good one tonight. Looking forward to this.
Mate, I can't wait. I mean, this one was an exciting one because we got the opportunity, didn't we, to swing the axe.
Oh, yeah.
So I haven't sharpened the axe for a while, so I enjoyed going into the shed, getting the axe out, getting the grindstone. And I was like, who am I killing today? Mark Smith is with the 5 gifted. You are a legend. If Mark has given you a gifted subscription, make sure you say legend and call him Sparrow or whatever you want to call him. Something nice. Look at that. Faz. His axe has been sharpened.
Yeah. Axe and the pitchfork.
Well, I mean, I want to go into this show with something, because this is for my own mental health, because I spend too much time on social media. But let's try and be positive, because honestly, some of the things I've seen in the last 48 hours, I've actually been debating when Zoe tries to reverse the big Chevrolet we've got, just jumping in front of it head first. Honestly, so we're okay, but we are against the fierce rivals. We've got a big show, big show. See, Lek Dog's in chat. Good to see you, Lek Dog. He's been cut open, but we'll start with my main man, Ian. Lockie Cowan, tell me, what have you picked?
Yeah, so look, I haven't probably swung the axe as much as I have in recent weeks, but even still, 4 changes for me. And look, they're pretty simple. Mackay comes straight back in. Lewis Young makes way. And then I think Akers, if fit, we need him on that wing. He's so integral for us. And knowing that it's at the MCG, that wider ground, well, it's just his bread and butter. With that, a Cunningham will come out as well from that team. And mainly after that is where it becomes a little bit interesting. So Boyd, for me, I think has to come back in. One of the big things we've struggled with in recent weeks is ball movement from D50 and getting things happening. And he's that kind of player that whether it'll work or not, he wants to take on that, high pressure kick inboard on the 45. And he's probably our best kick, him and Gov. So I like the fact that we have those two there. And that's kind of what I'm looking for in the back 6 or 7 to try and get that movement happening. And I don't want Adam Cerra basically to play half back. I know we've tried it, but I don't really think it's something that is working. So I've got Cerra coming straight into that midfield. If we're going to play him, that's where his best football's at. And in doing so, I'm throwing Walshy to a wing this week. I think he's struggled in the middle right now, and obviously he can still rotate in there. But I'm making Ollie Hollands the withdrawal this week. And while I do like the fact that he has tried to take things on quite a bit, it just hasn't really worked for him. And that lack of physicality is kind of something I've noticed in recent weeks that I haven't loved from Ollie Hollands. And so in moving some other magnets around, he kind of makes way, and Walshy takes that spot. He can rotate there with, your likes of Cottrell, and Cerra can spend time there as well. But I just want the midfield to really hum, and that allows Kennedy a little bit more time in the midfield with Walsh out on a wing as well. And then really that last change there is really just with the sub. Jack Carroll does a decent job, but when he does come on, is it enough? Right now, no is my answer. And Jack Martin down there just has that little bit of X factor that everyone likes to see. Will he get through a full game of football? Who knows? So that's why he's the sub. He doesn't have to play that. Just a quarter of magic from Jack Martin, and it changes up how we look in that front half.
Mate, concise. Paul, any questions? I've added McGovern as well. My template was a different team. So McGovern, good spot chat. McGovern was there instead of Marchie.
We're going to my team, are we? Or are we staying with Ian's?
No, sorry, where?
I was going to say, geez, that was a...
Spoiler.
Geez, that was banged. Let's go back.
Hey, well, I'll just bring it back up. So any questions about his team, Mr. Paul, while I just reload it?
I think people were saying, did you have Marchbank in? Because people were saying Marchbank was in on the field.
It was
Marchbank definitely not in.
Okay. Right. Any questions about the team? Yes. Last time we played Collingwood, to the eye, we got murdered around stoppage. Did you take that into consideration when naming the team? Is that why Cerra has come into the midfield and we've tried to, I say bolster the midfield, but the same players are on there. It just looks like positional changes. And the other one, Jack Martin in. What was the consideration there? I know you said sub, quarter of magic. Was there any consideration to actually put him in the team?
Yes, look, great questions. I think midfield, it's definitely something that, look, even not looking back to the Collingwood game, clearly it's something that needs to be sorted out and fixed right now. One of the things that I don't necessarily understand is why a guy like maybe Kennedy isn't getting a lot of run through there. Particularly last week, I thought he was one of our best players out on the field and still didn't get a lot of those centre bounces. Have we, I guess... After that Sydney game, is Vossi worried that a midfield of Cripps, Hewitt and Kennedy isn't going to do it in there, especially with a guy like Peternet? It looks a lot slow on paper, but I don't mind throwing things around and going back to just winning the ball. That seems to be the thing right now. We're getting our hands on it, but we're not turning that and converting that into clearances. So I want some of our better players in there, and I like the idea of sort of Kennedy getting those minutes. And then Cerra, I've sort of named him in the midfield just because I wanted to show that he wasn't on the half back. He's more of a bench starter for me, but I just don't want him playing in that back half. He's kind of more of that wing rotation with Walsh and then pinch hitting in the midfield to go with the others. That's kind of where I'm seeing it right now. And because of the way that Collingwood can play, they're really strong on the wings as well. Is this the best time for Ollie Hollands playing almost every single game this season and so many last year? Such a young body out there in a must-win game. I don't know. Maybe I just think a more seasoned player like Walsh and Cerra could be a little bit better for us, a bit more smarts around the football anyway. And then I guess to answer the Jack Martin question, there was a lot of consideration to bring him in. He's something that we've probably missed in that forward line, just that other marking target, particularly without Zach Williams. We probably lost that. I know we've brought in Motlop and he has that sort of eye for goal, but doesn't necessarily have that marking ability. My issue was just I wasn't exactly sure who to take out. Maybe it's a guy like Cottrell, but I probably hamstrung myself in taking Ollie Hollins out of this team and wanting an extra player to rotate through there and on the half forward. But I'm happy to hear arguments for bringing Jack Martin straight in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. My question is, Jack Carroll, Voss, I might be the only person in the world who I don't hate Chera on the halfback. The bit I hate is he stays there all game and he's becoming a bit like Matt Kennedy 6 weeks ago, where it's like he's kind of just there because Voss doesn't trust anyone else. Do you find it interesting? And this is a question probably to both of you and chat. That Voss's last week, when we started to get battered around stoppage, Voss turned straight to Jack Carroll, not Kennedy, and not Adam Chera, and they stayed where they were. Can anyone shed some light on that? And is Voss seeing something that maybe I'm blind to?
It's a tough question to answer. I mean, I'm not sure I have the answer right now. I mean, the week before, I thought Carroll actually played pretty well around the ball. He was getting his hands on it and trying to drive and make things happen around stoppage. So potentially he's gone past, I guess, in the eyes of Voss, a guy like Chera right now. The last time Chera played midfield, he was fumbly. He wasn't good anywhere. So throwing him back in like I have in my team is potentially a mistake on form right now. I don't know. Personally, I just don't trust Jack Carroll enough from what I have seen. Physicality, he lacks in there. He just doesn't win enough of the football. I'm happy to be proven wrong with a guy like Jack Carroll, but we're in the crunch time right now, and whether guys are in form or out of form, I want to go back to the best players that we have, the ones that I've seen us be able to actually do it, the tangible evidence of these players, and go back to that. And yeah, as far as Chera on the half back, he hasn't had that drive, that run that I thought he might have. Is this because of his hamstrings? Is he worried about that? I have no idea. That'd just be pure speculation right now. But I don't think we got what we wanted from Chera, which is meant to be good ball use, taking the game on, running with some legs. That wasn't there. So I kind of don't want him around that as a mainstay. If he's there for 5 minutes as a rotation, that's fine. But he's meant to be a midfielder. That's what we signed him for. That's his best position where we've seen him best play for Carlton. Last year, midway through the season, he was leading our best and fairest by all accounts. He needs to go back to that. If he's not going to play in the midfield, then I just don't want to see him. But right now, even out of form, I trust him more than a Jack Carroll. But I don't know if you guys have seen more of Carroll and have more of an idea why you think that he's a bit more important right now.
No, it's silence and crickets and tumbleweeds for me as to why that decision was made last week. But anywho, I guess that's why coaches are paid the money to make those calls and get them right and change them up when they get them wrong. So it was just perplexing to me as to why we didn't use more midfield rotations last week. But I actually have no idea, to be honest. I don't know. There are a lot of things last week that they did that I have no idea about. But anyway.
I was hoping you were going to say, you know what? This is an English thing in Australia, but Australians are fucking obsessed with anyone who is left-footed. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in the UK, guy comes to play football with you and he volleys it left-footed. The first thing everyone will say is, "Who the fuck's the freak over there?" No one goes, "Wow, he's left-footed." Everyone else is out. What's wrong with him? You know, is he right? But hey, do you think with Jack Carroll, like I watched it last week and like I'm on my fourth watch. It felt like Voss just wasn't willing to put. He moved Fogarty, which I thought was like suicidal with our forward pressure.
Yeah.
And then I was waiting for him to go, right, okay, let's maybe move Kennedy and put Fogarty back because Kennedy's still having impact forward, but we need something different. It seems to be Voss wants to rotate, done it through the midfield, but I can't help feeling, is Voss sending Chera a lesson? Like, because we saw this with George Hewitt, we saw it last year with Kennedy in the lead up to finals when he in Kennedy at halfback. Is this some kind of like perverted lesson to say, learn the lesson of defence?
Jeez, hell of a time to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not great, is it? Just clinging on to something. Just clinging on to something.
Jeez.
I feel like right now, with looking at Vossi and who he's throwing in there, it's almost as if he just doesn't trust anyone else to go in the midfield, because if, Cripper, Walsh and Hewitt, the three that are meant to be the best combo that we have, if they're not being able to get it done, and like, who's to say that someone else can? Because is that more the actual structure around and the tactics of how we're setting up around stoppage if our best aren't getting it done? Because I can understand to that point where, okay, if Walsh isn't doing it, is Chera going to be any better than that? Is Jack Carroll going to be better? Maybe that is where he's looking at it. But I'm like Paolo, I don't understand why we didn't try more on Friday night, particularly even Elijah Hollins that we've seen over the last month when we were playing good football. He was in there giving us a bit of a change of pace, someone who provides a bit more movement around those stoppages. And even in the first half, we saw, Chincotta in there. And even though he's playing that negating role, I like that he has that tenacity to attack the ball, to attack the player. And I'm surprised that we took him out of there. We didn't try it again. Even if we don't put him in there as a defensive role, try him as an attacker in the midfield. Try something different. I know people have mentioned like a guy like Sard in there, and maybe that's not the right move considering we're not generating that movement in the back half, and he is potentially so integral to that. But what have you got to lose for 5 minutes when the game is disappearing and nothing seems to be working? Worst case, you try it and it's as bad as it already was. It's just strange that we aren't tinkering.
You know what? A couple of days ago, it came across my feed, James Rowbottom getting the George Hewitt role at Sydney in his first year as a full-time midfielder. It was last year. And there was a passage in it, it's about 5 minutes into it, where they ask him the question, and he says that, look, he was training as like the defensive midfielder, doing the stopping role, but he was playing across half forward. But every time he went to state level, he was playing that role. And he knew he had to bide his time because there's Callum Mills and players like that. But then he said that it was in a game, I think it was Fremantle, he was saying, Fremantle destroyed them in the middle. And Rowbottom had like the Elijah Hollins first half, where even though everything was falling down, Rowbottom stood up. And evidently Horse went to him at the quarter-time break and goes, mate, you've got 5 minutes. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Like, I say you're not ready. Prove me wrong. And like Rowbottom, I think he had 8 tackles in 2 quarters and like turned the flow of the game around. I was watching that game after I watched that little snippet and just thought it screamed, did it? Elijah was brilliant that second quarter, pinging intercept marks, getting the ball out of rebound 50 and then getting on the end. I was really thinking that was maybe James Rowbottom's moment for Elijah. Elijah came here. He said he wanted to play midfield time. That was the time, wasn't it? That third quarter, we're getting caked here. You've got a quarter. Prove to me you're the midfielder you say you are. Have 20 minutes. No questions asked. You're not being rotated. This is your midfield for 20 minutes. Prove me wrong. And I feel like we missed an opportunity there.
Yep. Safe. Safe and boring is what we were on Friday.
Sometimes safe and boring's good, though. Do you know what I mean? Because, I mean, let's be honest. After 11 years of marriage, I've got a few married guys in there. John Holden and co. Like, missionary's fun. I love the team. Right, I'm going to take you on a journey because I'm going to make you forget about Paul's team because I've ruined the order.
Please do.
I went crazy. Like, honestly, I started doing my team. I put on Boomtown Rats, I Don't Like Mondays, which is a song about that chick who shot up a school from a nana's backyard. And I got myself in a really bad mood. And I was like, gone crazy. So what I've done is I've killed Ollie Hollins, boo, Brodie Kent, Lewis Young, Connors, and Carroll, right? So I went back. Let me take you on a journey. Hold my hand. Get in the fridge, get yourself your favourite beverage. I'm going to take you down to a happier time. Rounds 14 last year and rounds 21, Carlton had the 4th highest scores from stoppage in a 5-game patch of all time, right? They also had the 3rd best differential ever recorded. And this was the turning point of Carlton's transition, was at its highest point. It had gone from 15th in the league to 7th in that 5-game turnaround. And there's one thing that happened. 4 out of 5 of them games, Carlton only played one recognised winger. Ollie Hollands went through his rest period, right? And let me read some numbers. On average, Adam Cerra had 52% time on ball. Sam Walsh had 56, and the majority was done by Patrick Cripps, Pitternet and RTDK, Ed Kerner, Matt Kennedy, and that was it. And the rest was floated through. So I looked at it and I thought the makeup here is Elijah Hollands becomes the 20% Sam Doherty, Walsh, Cerra rotate on the wing. And the reason I've dropped Kemp is what happened last week is my worst fear. I gave him 2 weeks when we did this team show. I wanted him another week away from AFL. All the hard work we did in the VFL has just been eradicated. Absolutely eradicated, because he was hung out to dry by a big Fijian. He was 9'8" and he eats 8 family-sized buckets for lunch. Do you know what I mean? He's a big boy, his older father. And it's too close to finals. So give him a couple of weeks in the VFL. Marchbank comes in. The reason Marchbank comes in, even though I don't agree with it, I think him and Kemp, him and Whittaker have a relationship. And I felt like Whittaker had to babysit Kemp in that second half, which was too much of a struggle this close to finals with all the knocks. Boyd comes back in, so we can finally have someone to kick over that press. It frees McGovern up so he can kick over the press. And Cowan's been playing that real high up role, so he can also kick over the press. Walsh out to the wing, Cerra out to the wing, rotate him at halfback if you must. Fogarty is banned from leaving forward 50 until it is to change ends and handshake at the end of the game. And that is the team. And the only consideration I had was Mason Cox. He's 9'8", 200 kegs, Texan steel. But then I realised he's American, so he's shithouse. So Pitternet follows him all game. Right? That is the team. We are winning with that team chat. Fire away your questions.
Jack Martin. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Expand. Elaborate. Because he's the player. He's the player that everyone, I think, has not forgotten about, but he's a player that can definitely provide a point of difference forward of centre. And I do think he will. I do think he will feature, if not this week, for the last 3 games.
I watched him in VFL and I was like, fuck his shit. And then I went back through some VFL highlights of Jack Martin, and all of them were fuck his shit. Right? They were all. And I just think Jack Martin is a man that was made for the bright lights Friday night. And I agree with you, Paul. When I was picking the team, I thought I want Elijah Cotter's Walsh on that other wing, which they all take turns in having a go. The easiest way to facilitate that is having Jack Martin there. So Jack Martin's going to play 60% of the game time, isn't he? I can heavily rotate him with Cottrell, Elijah, and Walsh there. I can heavily rotate that role, put him there, 10-minute stints. We're going to find you, brother, and do it. And I figured you've got 4 weeks. Get your best players out on the paddock now, because don't try this St Kilda. That was my thought process. Don't try and change the forward entries with a third target against St Kilda. Try it now against a side that is susceptible down back half of the ground.
Yeah, I like it. I've got a couple of questions. One, who is your sub out of those on the bench? And then the other one is around, I guess, the Marchbank inclusion. And was it Did it all happen? And what was your thought process really around him and Kemp? Was it because of the matchups of Collingwood's tools? Because the last few games, obviously, the opposition have swung a big man down forward, and it's really hurt us with that Kemp matchup. Weirdly, we haven't really tried to alleviate it by putting Whittaker on him, by putting McGovern or trying to change something up that way. Knowing that Collingwood, they've obviously got Mason Cox to throw down there. They've got, Kruger. I know these guys aren't necessarily great footballers, but they've got a bit more size to it, and that seems to be something that can let down Brodie Kemp. So is that a big reason why you went with Marchbank, a little bit more security that way?
Well, one, according to the club, it sounds like it's gastro. So, like, I was thinking, fuck me, what? He's had a dicky kebab. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, people win gold medals with dysentery. Like, I'm only asking him to stand there for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So some poor bastard won a VC with dysentery and taking 2 Tommy gun bullets in the chest and stormed a Japanese machine gun nest. Like, if he can't play, he's got to. And I also think, to answer your question seriously, Darcy didn't hurt Carlton against the Dogs when Carlton's midfield pressure was where it should be in that 180-200 mark. Because Carlton get hurt by tall people like anyone. This is basic science. That if you're 10 centimetres taller than someone else and you've got time to deliver the ball to his advantage, game over. But when it's a scrub kick forward, Whittaker peels off him, takes the piss. Right? So really, you've only got one person to worry about here who's tall, and that is Mason Cox. And for every Mason Cox finals Richmond game, there's the Mason Cox you know and love. He talks a big game like all Americans, but really he is a prick. So we should be fine. I've looked at this team and put Kennedy as my sub. Reason being is Martin's my point of difference. So for third quarter, Martin's had his 2 goals, looking a bit tired. I want to shore the middle up. I've just tried to look at this team as that the best period of time in Carlton's history was that period I told you, round 14 to round 21. Yeah. And it was dominant around stoppage. And the reason that was dominant is because Hewitt and Cripps held the fort. And almost every 2 centre bounces in that period, Voss put a different midfielder as the third. And nearly every 5 stoppages, he added an extra. So go back to that. Go back to that makeup. And I think Doc was the key point of difference because I went back and watched the round 17 game. Doc, we were doing what we were doing last week, you know, where everyone gets a bit fucking fumbly and everyone's like, oh my God, you kick it. Nah, you kick it. Nah, you. It was like 2 lovebirds chatting each other up, going, nah, you hang up, baby. Nah, you do. Where Doc just grabbed the fucking ball and went, boom. Get forward, boys. Stop fucking about with it. And I feel like that's Elijah's job. I feel like if you get Elijah, you're fine. But just Kemp, I'm thinking long-term career. Do you know what I mean? It can destroy his career. Like, it's not right, him being hung out to dry. And it's not his job. He's not a one-on-one defender. Do you know what I mean? So, Marchbank, for me, is what? The reports are he had sickness. And unless it's terminal, if he can't play for 4 quarters for the biggest football club in Australia, in the biggest game of the year, for 4 quarters, fuck me, delist him now.
Do we need to be smarter as a coaching group and actually adjust and not just, as you're saying, hang him out to dry? Why are we not changing that matchup when it's not working? Why can't Whittaker make a bit of a switch? Because, you know, on the weekend, you got a guy like Charlie Dixon who, look, he's well past it now. He can't do anything. So why do we need to get more creative in the coach's box and actually try to adjust as well, regardless of the personnel out there if a matchup isn't working?
Well, I mean, I feel like people always look for the easy cop-out answer to blame players. Like, I mean, first and foremost, playing elite level sport, if only it was as easy as don't kick down the wing. Right? I mean, like, just not being shit. I mean, if only life was that simple. Kemp, stop being shit. Spoil the ball. If only it was that easy. I do think they should have changed it. I understand why they didn't change it, because no one's talking about the second quarter where Kemp had 44 intercept possessions and 2 score launches, totaling 18 points in that quarter came from his defensive work. So it was probably the right matchup if the head of the ball was helping him out. The problem was when that pressure dropped, what happened? Ratcliffe was like, I'm on a child. How good's this? So, I mean, for me, I just think get him out of there. And I don't think it can be Lewis Young because amazingly, Lewis Young went into the back line and we saw what happens. He spoiled Whittaker in twice, got in his way. I mean, that's not his fault. It's how Lewis Young plays, but obviously there's no synergy. So it has to be for me Kemp or Marchbank. Yep. And I'm trying to think about winning flags, not this flag. Kemp, it's psychology is a funny thing, isn't it? Like if he goes 3 games in a row having 5 goals kicked on him, it's game over, isn't it?
Very true. Very, very true.
Like game over, isn't it? I mean, this game I think's easier for Kemp because it's one person. And to answer people's question, why have I killed Kennedy as sub? I think it's quite simple. Voss doesn't see him as a midfielder. So over the last 8 weeks, he's had the least midfield time of any player that's played midfield this year. Yeah. So he's either played at half back, half forward. He's only holding the fort for Jack Martin. So if I'm playing Jack Martin, I'm having him as the sub because if anything goes wrong with him, that's totally fine. And then we can fling him on the ball a bit later on should there be an injury. He's the most versatile. And I need Cottrell. Because I've got one winger short. So it's an interesting one. It was a tough team selection, this, but I mean, is there a way, chat, you can get Lewis Young in this team? Because in an ideal world, Lewis Young and Whittaker would be the pairing.
Yeah.
Like, how would we do it? I mean, could we trust Young to play fullback and Whittaker then go centre half back so he's using the ball?
I think the idea of it is probably potentially that next evolution in getting that other lockdown defender so we can actually get the best out of Whittaker and get the best out of Gov so they're not having to defend first. But how do you get a better one-on-one defender than Jacob Whittaker? Where does that come from? Right now, that's just Lewis Young just isn't that. The idea of him is, but on the actual field, it's just not working. So I agree with you, Pommy, with your team you've put out there. It's either Marchie or Kemp, and whichever one you take, absolutely go for it.
It's tough. I mean,
yep.
I've had gastro before. I could have played football.
2 weeks, mate. 2 weeks off with it.
Like 2 weeks. 2 weeks when you haven't played all. Yeah, should be all right. I think. But Paul, you were quite kind.
I was going to say, I've made 4 changes, but I feel like I'm the sympathetic one of the group, mate. No.
I've got to say, Paul, I did have 2 changes at first and just brought Boyd and Mackay. No, just brought Boyd, Mackay and Akers in. But then I was like, nah.
The beauty of this show is that we don't actually have to pick the team. This is all just
through, Paul. I like this team already.
Yeah, so look, for me, Akers, Mackay and Boyd, I just think are the obvious ones. They just all have to come back in. Young comes out, clearly. Cunningham goes out with the injured shoulder. Carroll goes out as well. And I just think, and I'm probably influenced a little by the coaches at the club and the way in which they want to set up. And then also that back patch of the season where we saw Caleb Marchbank be able to really handle the high pressure stakes of having to win. He was great in the late patch of the season last year, and I've got him back in for Brodie Kemp, even though the matchups that Brodie Kemp probably has this weekend are a lot more suitable than what he had last weekend. But having said that, I do think there's a push for Caleb Marchbank to come in. So Boyd has to come back in. I think we're going to I'd like to give Chera another go in midfield, get him out of that half-back role and put Boyd in there and get Chera back on the ball. And Kennedy as the sub this week as well. So that's the way I've gone. I don't want to change a hell of a lot. They're more changes that aren't going to tinker too much with the team, probably just put it back into a state where we've seen it before, and that's, in that 5-week patch. So I'm happy to keep Ollie in. I know people are absolutely rinsing him, but I don't think he's actually been as bad as, I actually don't think he's been bad. to be honest. So he's probably just been a bit of a victim of circumstance. But I get the feeling this will be a nice game for him. I think he would have learnt a lot out of this last month and a half. And, yeah, Harry coming back into the team will just straighten us up a little bit. And, yeah, Cherry in the middle is the big move for me. Boyd to half back, Cherry into the middle. Your time to shine, number 5.
Did it cross your mind,
Yep.
you know, with Ollie, like,
Yes.
I agree with you. I mean, like, I didn't drop him because I don't like his work. I dropped him purely from, I don't agree with this defensive halfback type role.
Yeah.
Did it cross your mind this week to give Ollie a bit of a rest and see if, I mean, I've been trying to think about this, Paul. Is Voss got too? I think he's got too many mids, and he can't quite, like, you know, he's obsessed with Kennedy being in there because Kennedy's there, but he doesn't obviously see him as a midfielder. And it's the same with Ollie. We see spurts of him getting advanced positions, but then quickly he pulls him back. Did that cross your mind of maybe taking mid away? Like, I feel sometimes we've got too much talent and we're trying to throw it in.
Yeah, maybe, but I do think that the play you can probably rotate out of there is Walsh to facilitate everybody else. Yeah, look, it's a good question. Yeah, I just think they need to be smarter with their rotations. To be honest, I haven't seen, we haven't really seen the Walsh rotation out of there for a little while. Even Boyd, as you said, Pommy, and it was something that we really liked and something that had us in a really good spot was seeing Boyd roll up to the back of a stoppage as well and being aggressive that way. So do we have too many midfielders in there? I would say no, but it's just more based on the fact that I don't think we've got the rotations based on where they're going. I say rest in inverted commas, but where they're going to come out and stay on the field outside of the midfield position. I think we've got that wrong, to be honest. So I'm happy for Cherry to go down to half back for bits and pieces, but not for the majority. I want to see him, of his game time, I want to see 70% of it on the ball and maybe 25 to 30% of it maybe across the back of the stoppage or across half back. And then as for the rest, to me, they just need to rotate a little bit more. That's all. That's what I'm looking at anyway.
All right, I love it. Ian, have you got any questions?
Yeah, I've definitely got one. We haven't spoken about him a lot, and maybe I'm a bit negative on him. I feel like I always bring him up quite often, but Chin Cotter right now,
yep.
What are you seeing his role, and what do you see it for this week? And maybe I'm reading too much into things right now, but it seems like since we've started this role with Chin Cotter and looking to negate the opposition and be a little bit more conservative rather than just say our midfield is going to beat your midfield. I feel like that's kind of stretched throughout the team and the way we're coaching. Everything feels to be reactive, that conservative element. Are you worried about us continually going after the tag and not just, I guess, mentality-wise saying that we can beat you, we don't need to nullify you? Where do you sort of sit with all that?
I agree with that sentiment, no doubt about it. Having said that, my fury with his role at the moment has been he just continues to be switched. He just give him one player, tell him that's your man. We've identified this bloke as the most dangerous person from a midfield perspective or a forward perspective. He's your man for the whole game. If someone else gets off the chain, that's just bad luck. It was the whole idea of the Bailey Dale move the other week. It shit me to high water. I give him one specific player and one specific role for the day and don't move him. Do not move him. If a player gets off the chain elsewhere, that's someone else's fault. That's the team's fault. Negate that as a team. I don't think it's a defeatist attitude or it's negative tactics giving him one role, one player to focus on for the game rather than, shifting him to another player and then another player and then another player. I don't like when they do that. So for me, I'm happy to see him go to, I think he will probably take Dacos just given the fact that we've got Sard back in the team to maybe negate Bobby Hill type, although it wouldn't surprise me if Cincotta does go straight to Bobby Hill and plays a more defensive role in our D50. So there are options there, but just pick one player and let him stick to it.
No, I absolutely love that.
One
That's
player.
been absolutely
I'm
killing
sick of the chocolate
right now.
changes,
And
mate.
yeah, I think it's a massive problem when we start to tinker with things because, as you say, as soon as you shift it, and even if he does lock down, then the thing that you were planning on stopping that you chose because it was the most influensive part of this game, all of a sudden, then Butter starts playing well and it lifts their midfield, and you're thinking the whole point was that you didn't want to have Houston because you thought the matchup was more important. So if it's working, stick to it, and if it's not working, then maybe look to shift it. But yeah, I agree. Stick with the one role and go for it, because there's a role for Cincotta in this team in any capacity. Just make it more clear cut.
Correct.
You know what, Paul? It's a great question from Aiden because it has crossed my mind. And when I'm saying this, I am Pom Cotter's number one fan, right? But I look at it sometimes and it's funny. I went back to round 0 where they played Chera on Lockie Neal, and Neal ended up having 25 touches, but I think he had 4 score involvements, no shots at goal, and he had 3 inside 50s that Cowan rifled up. And I was watching that and I was just thinking, where did the tag come from? Because it seemed to be back last year and this year, Vossi has had that mindset of, we saw Sard go on Pickett against Melbourne in the finals, and the plan was make him defend you. We won't tag him, we'll make him have to defend. And you saw Pickett imploded with that defensive responsibility. I'm with you. I hate seeing Cincotta be moved around, but do you think Carlton are missing a trick that if you're playing Cincotta, you maybe drop a midfielder? Because we know Kennedy, I don't want to pick on Kennedy, but I look at Kennedy and think like Voss. You obviously don't rate him as a midfielder. So why is he there? Because he kind of fits in the same Cincotta role at the moment. We've got two players that don't have one job. It's do anything that the other guys can't be asked to. Would it be easy just to kill one and have a full-time role?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I agree. There's definitely a world where it may happen this week. Wouldn't surprise me if Kennedy's dropped this week at all. At all. Yeah, I agree.
And it would be disgusting because I thought Kennedy was close to best of.
Yeah, I know.
He got a shit job,
isn't it? Yeah.
He got the shit job because no one else wanted to do it, and he excelled.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I know. But now we get a couple of ins, and it just changes the dynamic.
Yeah, I'd kind of like it just to see Vossi and co make a really tough decision and sort of live by it. Right now, I mean, go back to Lekdog's comment a while ago saying it's almost like we're picking the 23 best players rather than necessarily the best by position. And maybe that's it. We just have to make a tough call there and say, look, that's too many midfielders. The balance isn't there. We're now shoehorning roles for Kennedy, which to his credit, he's doing well in, but is someone else better at that role, and is that going to help our team balance?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Only position he hasn't played so far is ruck. So, I mean...
no, he has played ruck, hasn't he?
No, but a full game, a full quarter, a proper solo ruckman.
Don't speak too soon, mate.
Yeah, you know what? One final question for the group and for chat as well. Did it cross your mind? We always talk about milestone games, all right? And Collingwood have this real culture in their milestone games. And if you want to go back and watch De Goey's milestone game this year, Nobles at the start of the year. They have a real team ethos of let's give this guy a day out. Let's give this a day out. And the De Goey game is fascinating. There's players kicking 30 metres backwards to try and get him the ball so he can have a shot at goal. There is a real culture at Collingwood of this is your day, we're going to birthday boy you. Would it be an option? Because I've got a sneaky suspicion that he's obviously an idol to them. Would you stifle and tag Pendlebury? Get under their skin early and go, we're going to keep him to one touch a quarter. This is his fucking big day, but we're here to piss you off.
I like that. That's a very symbolic move. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love us to absolutely get stuck into him at the first bounce. If every single player is getting a knock on Pendles, that would get me excited to start the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was watching it because there's a moment in De Goey's game where, for no reason whatsoever, he gets bumped. Like De Goey's like just wandering around, and out of nowhere, the centre half back just knocks him on the floor, and you could see Collingwood got around him. I was thinking, just a quarter, just fucking wind them up. Go, we're here to ruin your blue-eyed boy, and ask Nick Dacos the question: are you going to be the big boy now? We're taking out your daddy. This is your midfield. Are you ready now? Are you ready to go against Cripps? Are you ready to go against Walsh without him? Like, just see what happens. Like, get them psychologically going, fuck, we're going to have to protect our old man here. Ask Nick, does he want to step up? Do you want to be the big boy?
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Hey, there you are. I mean, I reckon he'll get Nick. I reckon he gets Nick Dacos. I'll be honest, but I would do a bit of Clarkson putting 8 men on Fev to stop him getting 100. Like, just fucking petty.
Yeah. But why not do something that they're not expecting? That's kind of been our issue for the past month. We're kind of just churning out exactly what the opposition are prepared for, and we're not doing anything to change that. And even if we are getting some sort of advantage, the opposition just all of a sudden switch something themselves, and we never decide to try to go about that. So, yeah, let's do something different. They'll be completely surprised by that, so let's go for it.
I know it was ages ago, but I watched the Scott Pendlebury 350 game, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's almost Banterville. Like, they're trying to fucking find him when he's not even available. You know what I mean? Like, you could see the operation was get him to have a big game. Yeah. And I was thinking, you know what fucking Fly's like? He's a complete dickhead when he talks. He's in like some kind of imaginary world. Like, he thinks he's Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Do you know what I mean? like make him ask the question. Do you know what I mean? Like, be like, go on. Like, we're targeting him. So, because I think that's where I don't think Nick Dacos is influenced by the tag. I think what the secret of Nick Dacos is making him have to do it and make it conscious. And when you've seen Port tag him, it was more that ball didn't come to him as easy. So he had to work. Yeah. And it felt like he was kind of like, oh, fuck, I've got to do it. And when it was expected, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah. I'd even love Crippen to walk up to Dacos and just be like, oh, you're playing on me, buddy. Follow me around all day.
Right. It's just a thought. Well, I mean, let's get into picking the... I'm excited now.
Here we go.
I like a bit of pettiness.
What was what was that? There was that football video, round ball, Pommy, of, I think it might have been a lower league, and it was maybe academy players or young fellas, and the manager's gone into the change rooms at halftime and he's given his left back and right back permission to kick their wingers into the fucking grandstands, and he didn't care if they got red carded. He goes, just kick them. He goes, just send them into the grandstands. Maybe adopting some of that might be a wise idea.
Mate, sometimes it does work. It does work, like, because I think Pendlebury is that. I think he's like, I wouldn't want to say Jesus because that's blasphemous, but he's kind of like that inspirational character.
Yeah, so he's one of their ideals. You know, he's an ideal. He is. Yeah,
like, I think he's like Doc to us.
Yeah. Right? It's a good call. It's a good call.
And I just think they're all going to be there. Like, season's kind of on the line for them, kind of gone. At least we've got Pendles his 400th. Yeah, like, you play a bit dirty, bump him off the ball, don't give him the easy touch. They're going to be questioning because remember Adelaide when Carlton decided to let Gibbs do what he wanted? Adelaide were pissed that year. Absolute piss. But because Gibbs was having a good day, everyone was like, oh, this is good. Gibbs. Oh, look, even Carlton's cheer squad's cheering. Gibbs has kicked a goal. God. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, be a bit fucking nasty. Do you know what I mean? Go in there and say, fuck you, Pendlebury, 400 games. See if you get to the end of the game, mate. See if you get to the end of your 400, you prick. And then be nice at the end of it.
Cheer him off after he copped the black eye.
Nah, fuck. If I see any of Carlton players cheer him off, as much of a champion of the game as Pendlebury is, fuck me, they need to get a restraining order. I never want to see us cheer another player off, ever. Ever. Unless it's our own playing for us. Agreed, Chills. You can show respect after, like, give him a fucking hug at the end of the game. But during the game, do as much as you can so he doesn't get to the cheering off stage.
Hayden, what's that? I do a Roy Keane. What's that? Kick him in the knee.
Well, and then write a book going, he got the ball and I just thought, fucking do him.
Do it. He deserved it.
You know what? If Cripps ever does a book and like he does a sling tackle this game and one of the quotes is, I saw Pendlebury and I remembered what he said when we got knocked out, going, he doesn't feel sorry for us. And I just saw red and said, do him. Honestly, I'll change my name to Patrick Cripps. But let's pick the team. We're going to have one each chat. I'm going to give you 3 because it's the spirit of goodwill. Because I fucking hate Collingwood. So, Ian, I need a backman. Give me a backman, baby.
Jordan Boyd, bring him back.
Ah, yes. Very good.
Very good.
Yep.
Bring him back. Mr. Paolo.
We are going to save... I'm going to change things up a bit here. I'm going to save Caleb Marchbank. There you go.
Chat's going to hate you. Some people...
Libac's, the way we behave for that Gibbs got me almost hating Carlton.
Grim days, I tell you
Roy
what.
I did the watch long. I did the watch long for that. And I remember saying, like, mathematically, we could still play finals. And I was like, just take out fucking... Gibbs's, no one gives a fuck. Gibbs left us. And he didn't do it once, he did it twice. Tried to leave twice. And I get wife, family, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? I've been young before and just given up my career for someone else. But I was like, he's not a hero, right? We're playing for it. I never forget there is this bit where Gibbs takes that mark, 35 out on a goal, and they zoom in onto, I think it's Carlton's cheer squad and the people around them. And they've got "We love you, Gibbs," and they're cheering. I'm like, "There's fucking kicked a goal against you." Like, I love Bryce Gibbs too. Not when he's fucking playing me though. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to knock my brother out in a soccer game, right? Because he played for the opposition, and he called me sweet cheeks, and I was like, "I'll fucking kill you." Right? I loved him. No, do you know what I mean? Like, he's my enemy, though.
Was it Frank Lampard's father and brother who cussed him the whole game, Chelsea West Ham? Was that?
John Terry, wasn't it?
Oh, John Terry, that's right. Yeah, John Terry. Yeah,
and there's that famous thing, he scored a goal when he's gone over, and there's 2 guys going, and that's his dad and his uncle. Do you know what I mean? I can't deal with it. Like, I can't honestly, I can't deal with it. Like, I've always been honest. Charlie Curnow leaves. You watch his first game against the Blues. As much as I lick his face when he plays, you watch what I call him when he's playing another shirt. Like, you're dead to me once you trade out of here. Fuck me. But it's all right, though. Bryce Gibbs got 40 touches that day.
Oh, God.
Yikes.
Mighty hard. Honestly, I wake up in the middle of the night and my missus will be asleep and she wakes up to this. He doesn't play for us anymore!
There it is.
That's so good.
There it is.
How good is it? Mate, that's what I'm about. Like, you're never nice to, like, it's when people go like that. Like, I heard someone the other day and it actually made me feel sick. And they were like, we're at the North Melbourne game and someone booed and cheered when Zach Fisher got called holding the ball. And I'm like, played 78 of the most mediocre fucking games for this football club. You know, I'm sure he's all right. He got paid for it. He was happy to go. Like,
he was contracted. He was still contracted. People forget he was still contracted to us when he left.
Yeah, but I'm like, he knew what he signed up. I don't think he gets upset. Like, don't think Zach Fisher's at home like this, crying because some guy from Warrnambool called him a twat. Like, He's on 6 figures. He couldn't give a fuck. Like, do you know what I mean?
Correct.
But anyway, chat, I need defenders, preferably not Bryce Gibbs. These are your list. You've got, I saved Jacob Whittaker in because I'm cool. We've got Boyd Whittaker in Marchbank. You need a back pocket and 2 marauding halfback flankers, my gorgeous people. And you've got Akers, Chera, Chincotta, Cottrell, Cowan, Cripps, Kerner. I was going to say Ed Kerner, Elijah Hollands, Fogarty, Hewitt, Hollands, Kent, Kennedy, Martin, McGovern, Mackay, Motlop, Newman, Owes, Pitternet, Sard, Walsh. You know what, as well, chat? I've got something really exciting for you. I made contact today to try and get a great man on this channel, and I think I might get him, but we're trying to get Aaron Mullet to come and do a one-on-one. You know, I talk about Aaron Mullet all the time. It'll be an absolute honour to get the hero himself. There's a proper footballer.
Why Aaron Mullet?
Don't know. I just have an obsession with Aaron Mullet. He gets brought up a lot by me.
Is it his name?
Mate, any man that can play all 23 games of that season, then be the first to delisted. Like, I rate that. Like, what a man.
Aaron Mullet.
Only man who had a tattoo for Carlton in that time. I think he was the only one who was legally allowed to drink as well.
Here we go.
Plenty love for Cowan, I tell you what.
Yeah, there's plenty of love for Lockie Cowan.
Gov, Newman, Sard. So it looks like Sard and Gov.
I reckon it's Sard, Cowan, and Gov. I know Newman, or maybe Newman.
Oh, I think
Maybe
Newman's got to come late.
He's got the late run here. The next couple could decide it.
Yep. Come on,
Chad. Season still gets it, mate. As a mullet, what a bring me mullet. All right, let's go.
Kick a goal for us, Aaron Mullet. He ever kick a goal for us? Did he ever kick a goal for us? I'm trying to think.
I don't believe he did, but all I know is he had the best surname, decent dirty hair. And,
who was the other guy that? Remember that? What
kicked 2 goals for us. There you go.
Oh, really? There you go. Yeah. Was it Cameron O'Shea?
Yeah.
Oh, Cameron.
Yeah. Fridge. Yeah. Good old Fridge.
Mate, Cam O'Shea.
He dominated VFL for ages for us.
I remember when we got him, and I'm not going to reveal the podcast. There wasn't many around, so you might be able to work it out. But this podcast literally told me they thought he could fill, and I'll quote it, fill the Judd-like hole in that midfield.
No.
What? The Judd-like hole?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because if you remember, don't you remember, like, Judd probably retired 2 years too early, and then, you know, Bryce Gibbs, like, couldn't fucking get out of here fast enough. Like, and then suddenly it was Cripps and 12-year-olds in the midfield. I always look back and just think, if we kept Gibbs, as long as we did, but then say Juddy never got hurt, I reckon our midfield would have been pretty good pretty quickly.
Yes, imagine a prime guard in this midfield.
Cam O'Shea.
Imagine a prime
Cam O'Shea in this midfield, mate. That's what we should be getting excited about.
You know, some of you lot in chat get really excited about Jackson Binns. You should have seen fucking Cam O'Shea. Like, he makes Jackson Binns look like how Gary Ablett Jr. makes Cam Poulsen look.
Yep.
I also remember, do you remember, I was going through my archives of messages and I found a screenshot, and I'm not going to reveal it because I like the person who said it, but someone did say on a large Carlton forum, they did a comparison of Cam Poulsen's first 5 games and Gary Ablett Jr.'s. And the only thing, and the quote is brilliant. Oh, you Poulsen haters will laugh in 10 years' time. He's only 0.2 goals behind fucking Ablett Jr. And honestly, I was like, yes. Oh, God, good time.
God.
More of that, please.
It's the hope that kills you. It's the hope. Do you remember when we had so much hope? It was good times. Right, midfielders. Cam Poulsen, Ian?
Oh, mate, I hate how well I know that, like, 2008 team. Like, I could rattle off so many absolute duds, but let's talk about some good players. And I am bringing in, mate, it has to be Blake Acres, surely. Get the Sheriff back.
Yeah, bring back the Sheriff.
I love it.
Speaking of Sheriffs, I'm actually watching a B grade Sylvester Stallone movie at the moment called Copland. If anyone wants it, it's a pretty good movie. It's one. Sylvester Stallone is actually very sympathetic in this movie as his character. It's a bit of a different take on things.
Stallone.
Yeah.
Mate, I like a little bit of Stallone.
Goes all right. Good actor.
Midfielder.
Liam Sumner.
Let's get him in.
Let's save the big captain, El Capitan, El Capo, Paddy Cripps, right in the heart, right in the guts.
Tell you what, chat, and I'll ask these guys while I pick one. Who's your biggest letdown in your time supporting Cowan? Who have you really thought would go on to be a fucking world-class player? And you look like a dickhead now. Like, be honest. We've all got one.
Genuinely thought Kane Lucas was going to be top 5
Sugar.
AFL player.
Sugar.
So all in. I was all in on Sugar. He just had that look of like, this guy's going to be an absolute star. And I talked him up every single time. And absolutely did nothing.
He looked like Ziz. Remember Ziz?
Yeah.
Bodybuilder? It looked exactly like Ziz.
Shredded, mate. Absolutely shredded.
Biggest letdown for me, probably Sam Petrevsky-Seton.
SPS?
Good one.
Yeah, he was going to be anything. Oh, Ada Mensch a good one. Yeah, Troy Menzel. Wow. That's not the worst call. Oh, Dylan Viojo Rainbow. Oh, wow. I've got a funny story about Dylan Viojo Rainbow, actually.
I've got a good one that's poignant in this one, but is it not like Caleb Marchbank?
Oh,
could be.
Yeah. I don't know if I should tell this. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll tell this Viojo Rainbow story. It's hilarious. We're at North. This was when I was working at for the VFL team, right? It's all done and dusted now. And we drove down to Ballarat. We were playing North Ballarat at the time. And I think we ended up winning the game by about 5 or 6 goals, but Ballarat had been struggling. And Viojo Rainbow went down sore, right? And he came off the bench and he was getting rub downs. And we were kind of lacking rotations. And our coach at the time, who I'm still mates with, gets on the blower. And our media boxes were right next to the coach's boxes. And you could hear everything, right? Coach has got on the phone. He goes, "Is Dylan okay to go?" And he gets him on the phone. He goes, "Dylan, you all right?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know." He goes, "Mate," he goes, "you're down there like you've been fucking shot. Get on the fucking ground." Mate, it was the funniest thing. It was the funniest thing. And we're all there, like, typing away, working away, and everyone's.
You know what, chat? I need 3 midfielders. You've got Chera, Chincotta, Cottrell, Cowan, Kerno, Elijah, Fogarty, Hollands, Kemp, Martin, Mackay, Motlop, Owes, and Walsh. I'm going to say probably the most famous one that I've ever got wrong. Without a shadow of a doubt, it has to be Liam Stocker. Because I did his draft profile and akined him to could start his career at halfback, which did happen incidentally. Yes. So I got that right. And saying that he reminds me of the development of another midfielder who became a superstar in Luke Hodge.
That's okay. Look, we all have to have comparisons, Pommy. We all get it wrong, mate.
Mate, Stephen Silvani still thinks that, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, we all get it wrong, mate. We all get it wrong. Maybe not that wrong, but we all get it wrong.
Fucking Luke Hodge, chat. Luke fucking Hodge. Well, looks like Walsh and Chera are 100% saved here. Lidge Kennedy coming in. Chincotta's got 3. Terry has got a fucking take.
Yeah, that has to be the curse, doesn't it?
So those who are long time viewers will notice me and Terry have an in joke because I cheated him last year with Cowan and I didn't tell him. He won a Morris medal. but Terry, I remember making a statement. Terry, when's there been a shit Morris medalist? They don't hand them out. And lo and behold, like since then, I think fucking 3 of them got fucking Morris medals.
Didn't he tie with a bloke that didn't even get drafted?
Pardon?
Didn't he tie with someone that didn't get drafted? Or am I mistaken?
He did. The guy who's hyphenated is at Frankston. I can see him frizzy hair. And you know what? Incidentally, I did like the frizzy-haired guy. Do you know why? Because in my draft profile, he was very stock-alike. And,
Oh no, Bobby.
and literally, I just never talked about him. I was like, I'm not going to put this out to the ether. So I actually sometimes think maybe I ruined that guy's career that I didn't big him up enough, right? because I was like, fuck, he's like Stocker, bro. He's like Stocker, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. Right, so we've got Chera on the ball. You save Chin Cotter, so we're gonna have to put him on the extended chat. And who else did you save? Walsh, Chera, and Chin Cotter. Walsh. Oh, yeah. Where's? Oh, there we are. There we are. Look, done. Right, forwards.
Easy.
That was hard. All right, forwards. Ian, give me a forward.
Ooh, this is very interesting. Let's go Harry Mackay. I'm just bringing everyone back in.
You know what, chat? I'll make it easy. We'll put Pitternet there as well. So you've gone to Harry Mackay. All right, Mr. Paul, forward.
We'll save Elijah Hollands.
That's the one. Taj Campbell Farrell.
That's him.
Yeah, I was a huge fan, Ian. And honestly, Terry's actually ruined it for me. Like, I actually disregard Moorish medals now. Like it's bad. So we got Lidge. I'm going to save. I'm doing it.
Oh, I was waiting for someone to do it. He's
Jack Martin's back, baby. Get around him. All right, chat. We need 3 forwards. You've got forward pocket, and whatever that position is, full forward. Cottrell, Cowan, Kerno, Fogarty, Hollands, Kennedy, Motlop, Owies. Give me your favourites. Why isn't Terry mod? I can make him mod. Look, I can do anything you want. Just give me 3 names, chat. I can do anything you want, though, chat. Like I am a man.
Fogg, Owies, Motts, Kennedy, Fogg, Charlie Fogg, Owies, Charlie Fogg, Owies, Charlie Fogg, Motlop, Motlop, Kerno, Fogg.
Well, Charlie's locked in.
Well,
Fogg is as well.
Mighty hard. Not sure if we could squeeze Charlie in.
Would we say Owies might have just taken that out?
Yes, I think we can put Owies in there.
Can I just say, chat, you know what I love about you is I was actually chatting to a few of my mates who are like football heads. And I said, they were saying to me, oh, all Carlton fans fucking hate Owies. He's the number 3 goalkeeper for your side. And I was like, come into the Pominos chat. That he gets a bit of fucking love, does Owies. Like,
what Carlton supporters dislike Matt Owies?
I think it's like their impression with them being like opposition fans is like Twitter and Instagram. And like,
right, okay.
I said to him on Twitter, I was like, on Twitter, I often ring the membership department and cancel my membership when I read some of the stuff. Like I ring them up and go.
Why do people think Twitter is it's what happens in life? Like it's just it's not
real.
Anyway. It's not.
Carlton fans are quite intelligent, though. We have other mediums to communicate.
That's
they
correct.
Just have like all the others use Twitter, so their knowledge of Carlton fans is like the worst of our fans. It's not like the good of our fans. Like they send me some quality stuff. Like one of them sent me a post, and I had to laugh because he knew I was upset after the loss, and it made me happy. He's a Richmond fan, good mate of mine, and he sent me a message going, "This will cheer you up, you pommy prick." And it was someone in bolds going on the Carlton actual post going, "Selection committee need firing. Binns would have won game." And he's actually put "won game" instead of "won the game" because he'd run out of characters. And it did make me laugh. It did. Like I was like, okay, cool, we're shit. Like, it's all right. It's all right, chat. Don't worry, we'll be all right. All right, Ian, I need a bench. We've got Pom Cotter already on there.
Oh, well, I'll pick my man that I was likened to at the start of the show, Lockie Cowan.
Very good.
Mr. Paolo?
Oh, jeez. This is tricky. This is really tricky.
What's the right team balance?
So you've got Boyd Wheater in McGovern, Sard, Marchbank Newman, Walsh, Cripps, Akers, Martin, Mackay, Elijah, Owies, Kerno, Fogarty, Pitternet, Hewitt, Chera, just to go through the team.
Can I? Who are our wingers? Can I check the wings again? That we've
Walsh
got at the moment?
and Walsh and Acres of class. So we probably do need a reserve winger.
Let's save Ollie Hollands.
Yeah. Oh, is Cottrell going to the?
I've got a soft spot for him. I've got a real big soft spot for him.
We love Ollie.
Take the game on. He's the only one doing it. Whether it works,
I've got a real soft spot for him. I just feel that he's going to be one of those players that when we start to generate and get back into that form, he's going to be the one that just flourishes.
He's going to be a 300 gamer. I'm a big Ollie fan.
I like him a lot. I like his work rate.
I kind of want him here, though. I want him to have that attacking role. I'm hoping in this team he gets to pinch it in the wing and play a little bit further forward and be a little bit more aggressive as opposed to being.
I love him delivering the ball inside forward 50 just quietly.
Yeah. Yeah, but fuck, Jesus. You know what, though? I do warn people about this. If you hate Ollie's disposal efficiency and you're one of them people who slates the Oliver, wait till you see Ben Camporelli. I'm saving Motlop. Chat, we've got one spot left.
Here we go. This is a good 3 to pick from, by the way. I like this. This actually gives people some thought because you got a winger, you got a defender, and you got a bloke who's the Swiss Army knife. So this is a really good, really good last spot.
Chat, you've got Cottrell, Kemp, or Kennedy.
This is going to be very close.
While you do that, you know what, Andy, though? Do you think it's a bad thing? And I'll say this, right? I'm a big Kennedy fan. You know I love Kennedy. But is Kennedy... I think Kennedy's worth quite a bit to other clubs. If I was a North, if I was an Eagles...
Agree.
I'd probably play an early second.
Absolutely.
And would it bother Carlton? Because Voss doesn't like him as an inside midfielder. He's probably got the chance, hasn't he? And he's got nowhere else really to play.
What's he worth on the open market?
I reckon he's a second. I reckon you can maybe get more.
Early second. I reckon early second.
Pardon me.
You just need to replace him. That's the only thing. As far as a seasoned body.
Well, you've got like the Whitlocks without making it a draft show. You've got the Whitlocks. I wouldn't mind both Whitlocks. Like, I reckon you might be able to do like a first rounder for him for a second coming back future. I think a few clubs will slide down this order with how deep it is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Looks like Kennedy. Chat, you've saved him.
Yep.
Beautiful. Can play anywhere.
Chat, you know what, though? There's been a lot of Marchbank hating here, and you guys all bullied me when I said Marchbank was shit, and you've converted me. I can't win. But no, I like that team, chat. We've gone Boyd, Whittaker, McGovern, Newman, Marchbank, Sard, Walsh, Cripps, Acres. Like, that is tasty. That back 6 with that middle 3 is quite tasty. Martin, that's got to be the best half-forward line in the AFL, hasn't it? Martin, Mackay, Hollands.
Just about.
On talent, close to it.
Oh, do you know what I mean? And then you've got Owies, Kerner, and Fogg. Pitternet, Hewitt, Sherrod's tasty. And that bench, a lot of running power on that bench.
We've said this the last 4 weeks. And all those blokes have ended up being inside defensive 50.
Yeah. Look at that. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. You can bookmark this. Carlton don't lose another game for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I said that before the when we beat North Melbourne. So when we beat North Melbourne, I thought we wouldn't lose another game for the rest of the year, but fat lot of good that was. Maybe this is the case now.
Albert, you make a great point. It's a shame it's the AFL league, not the fucking origami league.
Correct,
If it was an origami league, though, fuck, that's winning a flag.
Yeah,
so, Ian, what have you got for the rest of the week? Talk to me, baby.
Yes, well, right now I'm live on Blue Abroad, 2 places at once, as always. So once you've done this, head over to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel and watch the Carlton versus Collingwood preview show. Got a bit, I guess, very annoyed and frustrated on the Port Adelaide review show, but, mellowed down a little bit, and it's all about focusing on this week and getting back to what we do best. So if you want a bit of, hopefully, that inspiration and a bit of positivity, make sure you watch that on YouTube, or if you're listening in podcast form, if that's where you get it, Navy Blue Corner's the place to find it.
I've got to say, you had a few swear words, didn't you, this week?
Yeah, I'm in a bad mood when I drop a few F-bombs.
It's all right. All done it.
You know what? That
Save them for the right moment,
Yeah.
Make them mean a little bit more.
Well, I've got to say, that might be the first time I've ever heard you swear.
I can make it more often if you'd like.
Well, I mean, I'm the one here known as the one who fucking swears too much.
Only if when it's necessary.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, as someone described me to a mate who does YouTube the other day, who's that Bluebagger who says cunt way too much? And straight away, he was like, the English guy, and he was like, I don't know if he's English or not. He just says cunt a lot. And I'm like, it's nice to know that overrides the accent, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, quality. I put the link in for Navy Blue Corner. Go and check it out. You should know what Blue Abroad is. The link is in the description for that as well. Paul, what are you doing this week?
I've got a heap on. So tomorrow we'll be recording the SEN Untitled Blues pod. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. It's a bit of a later one this week. We've had a bit of work and a bit of stuff going on. We'll be preparing for the Jumper Punch stage show, 31st of August. You can get your tickets now. Everybody's invited. Go to trybooking.com to find the tickets. And Tuesday will be the Jumper Punch, and then just a whole heap of work with SEN this weekend. Plenty coming up. So, and I'll see you at the G on Saturday night. I'll be there with bells and whistles.
Mate, well, I mean, tell us about the Jumper Punch stage show as I try and find tickets. What's happening at the Jumper Punch stage show?
It's going to be a little bit different to the first one we did. So it's going to be more of a cocktail feel to it. So there's going to be a whole heap of food. So no one's going to go hungry. Everyone's going to get a whole heap of food. There'll be drinks. We'll have special guests. We're going to have some past players, modern or past players who have just recently retired, and some past players who are from yesteryear as well. So we'll have those players announced shortly, and we'll be going from 6:30 all the way through past midnight. So there'll be a bit of an after party as well when it's all said and done. So it's going to be a very special night. 31st of August, the Saturday week of the bye into finals is when that will be. So Saturday week of bye into finals is where you can find it.
I've stopped being a complete idiot, and I managed to work out how you click a link. So the link is in there.
Okay, there it is.
I became a 95-year-old man and was like, how the fuck does the internet work? But I've done that. But make sure you go and head onto there.
Yes.
There is a rumour that you may see a Pom and a Mrs. Pom at that event as well.
Apparently, I hear that that's the case as well. So
there is an unsubstantiated rumour.
There will be a tab for you as well, mate. So use that as best as possible, mate.
And there is a rumour as well that Pom after 5 pints will get everything off and start singing Philadelphia Freedom. That's another rumour, but I can really confirm. I'll deny. What have I got on this week? There is a very special hype-up video coming tomorrow that I've worked really hard on, where Pom has used his A-level in English literature to good use and wrote a poem to video. We've got the Carlton Collingwood previews up. I went on Pies Footy with Anthony and had a good laugh with them. So go and see that, because I called a few Collingwood fans Mickey Mouse footballers. And other than that, there'll just be loads of content coming. Tomorrow I am live. Tomorrow and the night after, we got the Friday pump up for Carlton Collingwood. And tomorrow I'm playing AFL Evo 23. And Mrs. Pom hates me because I've spent way too much money on packs. But the team is stacked. So you enjoy that. come and say hi. Peace, love, and light. We'll see you next week. Go Blues.
See you
Go
guys.
Blues.